Carl Edwards is our pole sitter for tomorrow night's NASCAR Sprint All-Star race.
Now, does this qualify me for the...
No, sure doesn't,
It
Carl.
doesn't, huh?
No, you're going to have
Are you guys familiar with this? I mean, I got second at Kansas, qualified second. Matt, they took the pole from Matt.
But they gave it back to him.
But they gave it back to him.
Yeah. That's
But
a long
even
story.
before they gave it back to him, they wouldn't give me the pole. Then we qualified on the pole at Talladega.
You didn't qualify on the pole.
Well, we started first.
Started first.
Don't get that one. And then we do the hardest qualifying of my life right here.
You got an award.
But I did get a check for 25 grand.
You got an award at Talladega.
Because I had to steal the trophy from the...
No, it was from Polk's Meat.
I know. I had to take it from the woman.
Okay.
She was not happy about it.
All right.
All right. So anyway, it's the only thing that's gone wrong today. Everything else has been great.
Okay, let's start again. Carl Edwards will start up front at the NASCAR Sprint All-Star race. Carl, talk about, he drives the number 99 Fastenal Ford, by the way, for Roush Fenway Racing. Talk about this style of qualifying. Kurt Busch was in here a little while ago, and he seemed to like it, and it seemed like it was generated a lot of response from the fans and that type of thing. What was it like going down pit road with throwing caution to the wind, basically?
It's petrifying. It was, I didn't. We practiced. First of all, I don't know if you guys noticed in practice, but it was insane. I mean, it felt like a war out there or something. I mean, it was crazy. Everybody was trying to practice, and there was really no oversight or management of all of us. So that was pretty crazy. And then real qualifying came, and all I heard, everyone was talking about was how fast Kurt Busch was coming onto pit road in practice. So when he set that lap up there, or that qualifying effort, I was pretty certain that you're going to have to get pretty insane to beat that. So our lap was really fast, and my plan going down the back straightaway coming to pit road, I was planning on being conservative because I saw how many guys were sliding through their pits, and then got around to turn 3, and the car had so much grip that I came on pit road pretty hard. But anyway, it's fun, and I wish we did this kind of thing more often. It was really neat to run that practice session at Talladega because we all knew that might be qualifying, so that was really neat. And then this felt a lot like that, where it was just a real exciting, dynamic, difficult qualifying format. So this stuff's great. I think I think we should do more of it.
Good deal. All right, we'll take questions now for Carl. If you have one, raise your hand. We'll get you the wireless mic.
And my picker. I mean, picker was like a second faster than everyone else or something like that.
That was second and a half, something like that.
Yep.
Mike, you have one mic, and then Bob.
MikeHenryspeed.com. Did you have enough time in that practice to kind of figure out where your mark would be and how fast you could go? And
kind of, but the problem is we only had 15 minutes. And so I came onto the pit road like, sorry, that's my mom. Hope she's not watching this online or something. What was the question? Oh yeah, so we came down pit road like 10 times in practice or something, but that's not enough times to feel real comfortable. So then when I got out there, I kind of had a loose plan, but I got into turn 3, and I couldn't really remember how I got onto pit road. So I think that's why you saw a lot of the different lines, because in those transitions, and you don't know whether to stay in the gas or slow down, and no one really knows how far you can push it. And I think it's kind of a shot in the dark. It was a little bit, you just kind of go for it. And so that was fun. I think if we did it, every week like that, people would get so good at it, it would become, everybody would be separated by a half a tenth of a second. But right now, it looked pretty wide open. That's pretty neat.
Go ahead, Bob.
Bob Hocker, Sporting News. You talked a little bit in the TV interview about having Dick Trickle's name above your driver's side window. I was curious, the fact that you drive the 99, did that have anything to do with it? And Jimmy Fenig's history with Dick, did that have anything to do with it?
Yeah, so Greg Emmer, one of the mechanics, he texted me, and then we talked with Randy Fuller and all the guys. Everybody said, hey, there's so many guys from up there in Wisconsin. Dick Trickle's a hero to over half of the crew, and Jimmy's worked with them. I've been telling the same Dick Trickle story. The first time I met him, I mean, he's out there in the sun on a 100-degree day, just smoking a cigarette. I was 16 years old, and I was dying, and I can't remember, but it seems like he had like a cup of coffee in his hand and the whole thing. And so I always had a lot of respect for his toughness and his determination. And And so they came up with the idea of, because we've got the 99 car, because there's so many guys from Wisconsin, to try to honor him in some way, and putting his name on above the door was their idea. Hopefully hopefully his family is doing as best they can, and hopefully he's in a better place, and we're doing him like I said, we're honoring him by doing that.
Right here, Al.
Carl, even if you're not joking about wanting to do this every weekend, are there certain weekends or there certain events when you might convince NASCAR, why don't we try this pit road deal? I mean, surely you wouldn't want to do it every weekend, would you?
Well, I like things like this, so yeah, I'd want to do it every weekend, but I don't know if they probably would.
But just
wanna do
special
that.
events, maybe.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what's really cool about it is that we sat over there in Victory Lane, me and Jack and all the pit crew guys, and everyone was a part of that. I mean, that's a big deal. I mean, you can go out there and drive the perfect lap and beat everyone by a tenth of a second or something, or you can be a tenth of a second off, and then your pit crew can come in and save the day and have that blistering stop. And I mean, they're really as big of a part of it as the driver. And so, to me, that's neat. The other thing that's neat is it's pretty chaotic. I mean, it's pretty neat to watch guys. I mean, when you see half of the guys in the All-Star race making mistakes, big mistakes. They're blowing through their pit box, almost wrecking their cars on pit road. That means it's really hard, and that's cool when you see us out of our comfort zone.
Any additional questions for Carl? Right here, Mike, and then Mike.
Mike Neff from frontstretch.com. You mentioned the qualifying at Talladega and how it wasn't really qualifying for
Right.
practice because you were trying to battle for that spot and doing some different things. Would you like to see, not only at a road course, but at some of the ovals, have NASCAR invoke the F1 type qualifying where you had sessions and groups of guys were out on the track at the same time trying to qualify?
Now, we're doing that at the road courses this year, if I'm not mistaken, right? So that'll be good. That's been fun in the Nationwide Series. But I think even neater than that is the idea, almost like the heat race format, that we had at Talladega. That practice session, I mean, if you ask all the drivers, that was the most intense practice session we've ever had at Talladega, because everyone knew that you're not just practicing and figuring out the balance of your car. You're trying to sandbag and get a run at the field. And I mean, Jimmy Johnson and I almost wrecked in that practice session trying to outbrave each other coming to the start-finish line, going through the pack. I mean, it was insane. So I think that stuff's neat. And I don't know about the fans' perspective, but for me, standing up on that building down there tonight, watching those guys, it almost felt like I was riding with them, because they come through turn 3, and it was like, how brave are you going to be going down pit road? And it was, I think it's a lot of fun for everybody. The more stuff we can do like that, the better. And I think NASCAR recognizes that. And I think the idea of getting rid of that pit road speed on entry was genius. I mean, whoever came up with that, I appreciate it. That was fun.
Mike Muller, MikeMuller.net. Now that you've done it one time, can you imagine doing that on every pit stop at every track with every car on the racetrack all year?
No, it'd be insanity. I thought about that in practice when I was following Mark Martin. I thought he did this for how many years? Every pit stop. That's and I can't imagine being a pit crew member and I mean the risk that those guys are taking. I mean, the risk they take today is huge. So, but to do that, that's insanity.
Other questions for Carl? Mike?
Obviously, the ultimate tomorrow night will be to win the race and lead every segment.
Yeah.
Does this give you a better shot? Do you really have that in mind, the idea that you could lead every segment?
We could, right? We could win every segment. I think the fact that that there's an extra $1 million on the line to do that, if we go out and win the first one, win the second one, you might see us screw the whole thing up trying to win the third and fourth one, because that carrot's out there. So I think it's a pretty genius thing to put on the table. But the most important part for us is to get that first pit stall, because the final 10 laps, that starting position is going to be determined by that pit stop. And to give first of all, our pit crew is awesome, and second, to give them that first pit stall. If we have a car that's, if we come on to pit road in the top 5, I think we'll be hard to beat off a pit road. And I think if we can have the front spot, have our car halfway decent, I think we'll have a pretty good shot at it.